Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. After more than 15 years of I-69 construction connecting Evansville to Indianapolis, the end is finally in sight.
What people can definitely look forward to is just more work on 465.
But for some Hoosiers, interstate construction meant loss of property and ease of access. With recent environmental disasters threatening waterways, we ask how safe is the water source for Monroe County?
We don't have a lot of heavy industry upstream from us, so the water is relatively clean to start with.
Lake Monroe was created 60 years ago and also provides water for parts of Brown County. And we look back at the life of legendary pianist and IU professor Menahem Pressler, who passed away last weekend at 99. We'll have these stories plus the latest news from across the state right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. After more than 3 years, the COVID-19 public health emergency expired Thursday at midnight, meaning vaccines, tests, and treatments won't necessarily be free going forward. Free vaccines will likely last through the summer due to a large federal stockpile, but it may become harder to get a vaccination as emergency use for authorizations for pharmacists could soon expire. Fewer than 200 Americans are dying from COVID-19 every week, but that doesn't mean the virus is gone for good.
We're kind of between like this emergency phase of a pandemic and what I would call kind of a more predictable endemic phase. But this virus has really kind of yet to settle into that kind of predictable or seasonal pattern.
The CDC and many states will also no longer be tracking new infections on a weekly or daily basis, meaning it may become more difficult to learn about outbreaks nearby.
We're losing a lot of actionable and local data, and it's already been getting harder to kind of see what's going on in real time, and that's going to get even harder after today. So I think it's a problem.
The CDC will continue to report on hospitalizations and deaths, do genetic analysis to report worrisome variants, and monitor spread through wastewater surveillance. The finish line for the completion of I-69 from Evansville to Indianapolis is in sight, with 5 of the 6 sections now complete. The 15-year project has decreased travel times and made southwestern Indiana more accessible, but for some, construction of the interstate meant the loss of land and access. Ethan Sandwise has this report.
I-69 will be complete by the end of 2024, according to the Indiana Department of Transportation. Construction has taken 15 years and cost around $4 billion. At times controversial for construction delays and environmental costs, some formerly frustrated Hoosier commuters are excited for the final product.
It's so fast and it's so convenient, and I don't mind it at all now, because now the fear is gone, it's beautiful, it's easy.
Kathleen Hardy Hansen rides I-69 daily for her job at the Indiana Institute on Disability and Community. She says delays used to get in the way, but now it's easier to commute for her job and her family.
I personally have a 28-year-old son who has cerebral palsy, so if I can get him out and about in the community, that's really great.
5 of the 6 sections of road between Evansville and Indianapolis have been completed. Kylie Kramer is the Public Relations Director for INDOT at Greenfield. She says all that remains is a section in Johnson and Marion counties and parts of the I-465 interchange.
The feedback that we've been getting is overall really exciting. With this project in general, I think if you took a look at the website and our community outreach, has been overwhelmingly amazing.
I-69 is part of a national highway intended to connect Canada to Mexico through 7 states. But Kramer says INDOT's focus is the impact on Indiana.
it allows our Bloomington students to come to Indianapolis in a faster route and a more efficient, and people can trust that their kid is going to be getting to and from Indianapolis safe. And if that's all it does at the end of the day, I know that we'd be happy with that.
But for some Hoosiers, I-69's legacy will be remembered as one of destruction. Joe Jackson raises horses on a farm north of Bloomington. His wife grew up here, and it became his home as well when they got married in 1971. Together, they built a house on the 80-acre lot.
Had a lot of, meaning to us. It's just not like buying something, and we actually build it. And then, of course, when they come through, it just really took a turn.
Jackson remembers the day INDOT came to his home and told him they would build an I-69 access road straight through his property, cutting it in half.
Well, they come down, sit down at your table, and then they basically just go over everything and basically just tell you what they're going to take and give you the proposal. And like I said, you got 30 days to accept it or not accept it. And we didn't accept it.
Kramer says INDOT prioritizes community engagement, but the state and property owners don't always see eye to eye.
Some conversations are harder than others, of course, especially when it comes to farmland and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, we do have those conversations. So we're not just going to plow through someone's farmland without them at least knowing about it.
Jackson was compensated for the acres he lost, but says he incurred damages from a drainage ditch INDOT constructed through his yard. He says he reached an out-of-court settlement with the state.
It just kept washing out and washing out. I kept putting rock there and trying to stop it. And when they first did it, our basement actually flooded 2 or 3 times.
Construction has ended, but Jackson misses the quiet nights he used to enjoy and says he feels unsafe taking his horses across that access road between his pastures.
Of course, the speed limit is 40 miles an hour. Of course, nobody does the speed limit, so when they come around that curve, it's kind of a blind curve. So if you start across the road and a car comes around there you are. You're in the middle of the road, and you just hope that they see you.
Jackson and his wife now spend most of their time in Madison, Indiana, but his granddaughter and great-granddaughter live on the farm. Despite the new road, he says he's glad he can pass it on to them. Jackson understands that I-69 will improve things for many Hoosiers, but he wants commuters to understand what his family went through.
If the people that's actually in the part that loses the property and stuff like that, they really don't have any idea how traumatic it is to them. And it is pretty traumatic, really. It really is.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
INDOT estimates that when completed, the final phase of the project between Martinsville and Indianapolis will save commuters 11 minutes. We're joined now by Liz DeSantis for more headlines from around the state. Hi, Liz.
Hi, thank you, Joe. The Monroe County Community Council plans to establish a financial advisory committee for the community's criminal justice needs. Council members unanimously voted for the committee Tuesday, just under 3 weeks after county commissioners suspended meetings of the jail planning group. The new advisory committee will gather information from local stakeholders and make budgetary recommendations regarding criminal justice. Baxter International has signed an agreement this week to sell its biopharma solutions business to a pair of private equity and growth investors. The company employs about 700 people in Bloomington, where it has operated for more than 2 decades at its facility on South Curry Pike. It's one of the largest organizations in the country specializing in injectable pharmaceuticals. Under the deal, Baxter will receive $4.25 billion from Advent International and Warburg Pincus. Indiana Industries emitted nearly 27% fewer greenhouse gas emissions than a decade ago. That's according to data from the Environmental Protection Agency. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Rebecca Teal reports coal plant closures largely drove that decline.
Power plants in Indiana contribute more than half of all greenhouse gas emissions in the state. A quarter comes from steelmakers like U.S. Steel and Cleveland Cliffs. So it's no surprise that coal plant closures affected emissions. And there's the possibility for more decreases in the next decade. 6 coal plants in the state are expected to retire by 2028.
Things are moving in the right direction, which I think is notable, particularly because we don't have a lot of policy push inside the state to make this happen.
But many utilities plan to replace coal plants with at least some natural gas, which still emits a lot of carbon dioxide. Gas pipelines can also leak methane, a more potent greenhouse gas than CO2.
And I think that eventually may happen. But I think replacing them with natural gas is really just a short-term solution rather than a long-term solution to the CO2 emissions.
Kaniski says if we want a clean energy economy, we'll need to stop adding new natural gas plants and switch to renewables, like wind and solar, as quickly as possible. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Rebecca Thiel.
Slight uptick in Indiana greenhouse gas emissions from 2020 to 2021, likely as industry ramped back up from the pandemic lockdown. The state's gasoline tax will go up by 1 cent to 34 cents on July 1st. Under an annual increase, legislators voted to extend by 2027. That increase has been allowed each July since 2017, when a Republican-sponsored plan boosted the gas tax to 28 cents from 18 cents. The state's gas levy also includes a 7% sales tax that will stand at 20.3 cents a gallon during May. The number of Hoosier victims of identity theft has nearly doubled in the last 5 years, according to Federal Trade Commission data. While cybercrime has steadily increased across the country, in Indiana, crimes like identity theft are growing 50% faster than the national average. Indiana State Police says they've investigated an increased number of incidents targeting children.
We've seen a very big uptick of sexual exploitation and extortion related to minors. In other words, suspects are accessing and communicating with minors, with children.
Indiana ranked 11th nationally for the greatest rate of increase in cybercrime. A Purdue University professor says passengers will benefit from a Department of Transportation proposal to require airlines to compensate passengers experiencing canceled or delayed flights. Passengers could be compensated if their flights are interrupted by controllable factors such as maintenance issues or crew scheduling. But the proposed measure will not apply to passengers delayed by weather.
I can't foresee the airlines trying to sort of blame as much of a delay on the external factors as possible.
And Joe Bolotkich says fares could increase by a small amount. He expects the DOT to enact the policy ahead of the busy travel rush in the winter months.
All right, Lizzie, thank you very much. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. We look back at the life of legendary pianist and IU music professor Menahem Pressler, who died last weekend. And we explore the water quality at Lake Monroe, which is the source of water for all of Monroe and parts of Brown County. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
We care about things that affect the lives of every American.
We are there at the front line
to get to the heart of what really matters in every issue.
This country has not seen this in 80 years.
This extraordinary moment in American history.
You're making such a huge impact.
Trust is at the heart of what we do.
Life is full of choices, and right now your favorite member benefit, Passport, is offering more choices for you to stream.
Welcome to the club.
It's a beautiful thing. With cooking.
I gotta let it cook, but I keep wanting to smell it.
Travel.
And here we are.
Documentaries.
I realized I could change the world.
And so much more. The choice is yours with Passport on the PBS Video app.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Internationally renowned pianist Menahem Pressler died Saturday in London at the age of 99. While small in stature, Pressler was a giant in the classical music world. Pressler was a founding member of the Beaux-Arts Trio, an award-winning performer and chamber musician, and faculty member at IU's Jacobs School of Music. Sarah Whitmire has this remembrance.
Menahem Pressler started playing music when he was 5 or 6 years old. In a 2013 interview with WFIU, he said music was truly what made him feel alive.
My father would always say to me when he came home after the whole day of work, "Didn't you have enough with practicing now?" I never had enough.
In 1939, Pressler fled Nazi Germany and immigrated to Israel with his family. His grandparents and aunts and uncles were all killed in Auschwitz. He came to the United States in 1946 to find out how good he was. At the WTIU International Piano Competition in San Francisco, he won first prize and international attention.
I still feel that feeling which I had going to the telegram office and sent home a telegram. I won. That was a great, great thrill.
Soon after, Pressler made his New York debut with the Philadelphia Orchestra. He would go on to tour the world and perform with orchestras in Paris, Dallas, London, Cleveland, and many others. In 1955, Pressler began his teaching career at Indiana University and started the Beaux-Arts Trio. He made more than 50 recordings with the trio, which has been called by many the best trio of all time. The group took its final bow in 2008, but Pressler continued to teach at IU. He viewed it as a way to stay young and leave something behind when he was gone.
Teaching has been my life's work, yes. And that has been mostly concentrated at IU. I've had many offers, many offers to leave. To leave with less work and more pay. None who wouldn't leave. I didn't. I was happy here.
Retired music school dean Henry Upper says the word retirement was not part of Pressler's vocabulary.
Menahem was able to build an international career, a very busy international career, and be one of the foremost chamber musicians that the country has ever known, or maybe the world has ever known, to also then be away and come back. I said many times Menahem would land at the Indianapolis airport, be brought to Bloomington, and come right to the School of Music, not even bother to drop baggage at home, come to the School of Music and begin teaching.
Upper calls Pressler a wonderful family man to his wife and 2 children. He says people were always surprised by Pressler's energy, drive, and his desire for life.
When I play, I don't feel older than 50. When I teach, I don't feel older than 40. But when I walk up the stairs, I feel my age.
Up until his death, Pressler continued to teach.
He was someone who is known not only for his incredible musicality and piano playing, but also for his goodness and kindness.
That's Jacobs School Dean Abra Bush.
And just the way he went through the world was remarkable.
Pressler performed in Bloomington every year, and he called it his most daunting venue because his students were in the audience. During Pressler's career, which spanned more than 70 years, he received numerous awards and honors, including 6 Grammy nominations, several honorary doctorates, and international awards from Germany, Spain, and France.
It's not a profession. When you see music, when you hear a great pianist, truly a great pianist, you know it's a calling.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Sarah Whitmire.
Lake Monroe was created 60 years ago to provide drinking water for Bloomington, Monroe County, and even some of Brown County. But how safe is it from chemical, biological, and physical toxins that can affect water sources? Clayton Baumgarth has the answer.
People are understandably on edge about toxins. In the last few months, Americans have contended with multiple toxic spills and burns, including the cleanup and removal of those hazardous wastes to neighboring states. And a heavily contested scheduled burn and logging project in Hoosier National Forest has people concerned for the sustained water quality of Lake Monroe. So how is the lake, the sole drinking source for over 128,000 citizens, protected from toxins?
We don't have a lot of heavy industry upstream from us, so the water is relatively clean to start with. And then we have our water operators here 24/7, 365 that are constantly testing the water, tweaking our treatment to make sure that it's optimal for whatever's coming in from the lake that day.
McLaughlin says they treat the water in 3 different ways. First, they have to physically remove any debris from the water.
We use bar screens, weirs, different types of media like sand and gravel, really ancient technology to get that stuff out of the water.
The chemical alum is also added in this step to clump physical materials together, which is later scooped out and disposed of. Next, they take biological contaminants out of the equation.
So your E. coli, things like that, and we use chlorine basically for that.
And finally, they protect the water from getting pipe materials in it while also disinfecting the water.
We add another chemical to make chloramine, which keeps it disinfected all the way up to our customers.
Through these steps, and most importantly, 24/7 monitoring and tweaking by waterworks staff, the city says the water is kept safe. But who protects the actual lake? According to Friends of Lake Monroe President Sherry Mitchell Bruker, the city doesn't actually manage the lake. They're permitted to use it through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the people who created the lake in the 60s.
There's no one person or organization that can protect the lake. It's up to our entire community. Activities on farms, forests, roads, commercial properties, private properties, all of these activities have potential to degrade water quality in the lake.
Her organization is focused on protecting the lake and has developed the Monroe Watershed Management Plan to improve water quality over the next 20 years. And while the city of Bloomington will always work hard to treat the water, Mitchell Bruker says that the real solution lies in protecting the drinking water at its source.
It's just way better to solve the problem at the source rather than trying to add a bunch of chemicals. And every time you add a new chemical, then there's another reaction that you have to take care of. And then all of that comes at a cost financially too.
One of the challenges they often run into is pulling together all the different groups that have a say in what happens to protect the lake.
All of the federal agencies, the Corps of Engineers and the Hoosier National Forest, they do have a responsibility to protect water quality. But then so does the state and so does the county. And so, it's very easy to say, oh, it's their responsibility.
Friends of Lake Monroe is one of the primary groups that sued the Forest Service over concerns that their controlled burn in Hoosier National Forest would affect water quality.
We're also encouraging local lawmakers to petition the Hoosier National Forest to set aside the Lake Monroe watershed as an area that has restricted activities and to improve water quality.
They also work on sponsoring trash cleanups and youth trips to the lake.
Sassafras Audubon Society has provided us with funds to sponsor kayak trips. We take youth, underserved youth, and others out on the lake to have a firsthand experience of the lake. And we hope that that will inspire them to take action to protect the lake.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Clayton Baumgarth.
Lake Monroe is the largest landlocked lake in the state with a surface area of nearly 11,000 acres. Its average depth is 17 feet. Oliver Winery and Vineyards north of Bloomington is undergoing a $12.6 million expansion to meet growing national demand. Liz DeSantis has more.
Despite being outside of typical wine country, this Hoosier business has grown to distribute in 42 states.
We sell a lot of wine and have a lot of growth these days in Texas and in Florida and Georgia, so really excited to bring more wines to those areas of the country.
The winery is using its expansion to hire more than 20 workers and add to its factory and warehouses.
We had a 45,000 square foot warehouse, and this was half again, 28,000 more square feet for us for case goods storage.
The facilities here are producing 200 bottles a minute. That's 5,000 of these cases a day, but the production manager says they're ready to start ramping things up.
We're not running multiple shifts. We're not running 5 days a week quite yet.
but we're very well prepared to handle quite a significant amount of growth, more than double what we are currently.
The company has carved an industry niche by catering to younger wine drinkers.
New consumers to wine, can often find it intimidating, and we really like to lead with these kind of wines, and we feel like that newer, younger consumers, as well as, a broad variety of consumers, the flavors appeal to them.
Adams says the winery owes its growth to its innovations, including a newly released sweet rosé called Melon Mint Moscato.
Coming this summer, behind me, you can see cases of key lime pie, and that's going to be our latest seasonal wine that we bring out.
And although the 50-year-old winery is expanding nationwide, the company is still proud of its roots.
We've always staked a claim in that part of the wine world. We feel like it fits with our Indiana heritage.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Liz DeSantis.
Oliver Winery is the 28th largest in the country and has been ranked one of the top 25 wineries to visit in the U.S. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.